Back when I was first deciding whether or not I wanted to move out of my parents' house as a teenager, there were loads of expectations and fears that were going on inside my head, some of which that I shared with my friends and family, others that I just kind of kept to myself. And it's been quite the journey now, living alone for almost 2 years. I moved out when I was 19, and I wanted to make a video sharing my experience on how it's been so far. This isn't going to be a video talking about tips or what you should do, but if you're on the fence, kind of thinking about whether or not you want to move out, or you've made the commitment and you want to know what it's like either living alone or moving out as a teenager, you've landed on the right video. So let's get into it. So let's start the story when I was 19 years old, living at home and, well, still going to college for a marketing degree. Hello there, I'm Nick Pachunka, and for those of you that don't know me, I'm a 19-year-old college student, content creator, and freelance filmmaker living at my parents' house here in Phoenix, Arizona. At the time, I got a job offer and I accepted. But the problem was, it was an hour commute each way. So after a long 2 weeks of commuting, I decided that I needed to move closer to work. 10 hours of commuting a week was not going to work for me as someone that values time very, very much. So that's when I started hunting for apartments. Initially, it was super exciting because, well, I was gonna have my own space that I could do whatever I want with it. That's at least bigger than a bedroom. That was so exciting, especially for someone that likes to record videos, and I really love laying out and designing things. So having my own apartment was a really exciting moment for myself. But then shortly after, that's when the worries started to set in. Am I making a dumb financial decision? Am I going to be able to balance all of my money? Wait, what happens if I lose this job? I haven't even had it for that long. What happens if I hate this job and I want to quit, but now I got to pay for this apartment? Initially, most of my worry was about money and being sure that I was going to actually be able to pay for everything that I signed up for, aka an apartment lease. These are the things that I talked about with the people around me. But then came the internal worry, the things that I really didn't talk to other people about. I've never really lived alone. Am I going to be lonely? What do my parents think about this whole idea? Because I haven't been talking about moving out for very long at all. They probably think I'm being irresponsible. What happens if I don't like living by myself and I end up missing my family? Is this going to be weird as a teenager living alone? Most people I talk to, they're either in a dorm or living with their parents. Now, I probably should have talked with people about some of those internal worries at the time because it definitely would have made things easier. But putting all the worries aside, I signed the lease because I was fully committed, no matter how terrifying it seemed, to move out and live alone. We got the keys. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Still on the ground floor. Now that I found the perfect apartment and it was all locked in, aka the fun part of moving out, it was now time to do the, well, not so fun part of moving out. All the stuff that I didn't even consider. Setting up your internet, your utilities. Why isn't internet a utility yet? I don't know. Then you gotta go through and change your address on literally everything. Your driver's license and all of that. And there's so much I'm not even mentioning here. But there's just a lot of really tedious tasks you have to do when moving out, and they're not very fun. To put a cherry on top, when I decided to move out of my parents' house is the same time that they decide to go and travel to Italy for a month. Now, this was not planned, and they are amazing parents, but that meant that I had to do pretty much everything on my own. I had to get the moving truck scheduled and rented by myself. I had to get my brother and my friend to help me move. And I didn't have my parents for the entire move out process. And that definitely added a little bit of stress. Now, I will add that moving my physical items from my parents' house and my bedroom to my new apartment wasn't really stressful at all, actually, because I discovered minimalism before I moved out. So the whole decluttering process started before that. That means I had way less stuff to move. Definitely made things easier without a doubt. Now, once my friend and my brother helped me move in all my things, and I went to bed that night, waking up to an apartment by myself. It was a really weird feeling looking around at my own space. I was like, this is mine, and I'm gonna set it up how I want it. This is all mine. It was such a weird feeling, and I wish I could kind of explain it better, but just the silence was kind of peaceful. Whenever I've moved in the past, a change of environment is really motivating because it's a new space to design how you want to. It's a clean slate, so you can kind of start fresh. That was really motivating for myself. But then I had to learn how to adult. Basic things like, what should I eat tonight? Or, how do I do my laundry? Or, what cleaner should I buy? I was honestly really surprised how complicated it was, trying to figure out what meals to cook when so I'm not spending too much money going out to eat, and balancing everything with my time. There was a lot to learn. A lot of those initial adulting things that seem second nature for adults, well, I had to learn all of that. Not to mention all the things that I had to buy that I never had to buy. Like, for instance, sitting down in the toilet, looking down and realizing, why isn't there toilet paper there? Oh yeah, I have to buy the toilet paper now. It doesn't just appear there or under the cabinet. I have to go to the store and buy toilet paper. Once I purchased all the little things I needed for my apartment, all the stuff I never had to buy, I started to develop a bit of a routine, and that's when something came to me as a surprise. I was not lonely at all. The worry of being alone and no one to talk to was not an issue at all. I actually learned to thrive in the silent environment because I was the master of my own space. There was no one there to distract me. If there was anything that didn't get done, it was my own fault. There's no one to blame, and I started to notice that my mind got way more focused. I was way more clear on the goals and things I wanted to do, and there was no one in the way to stop me. I am way more productive, I'm way more focused, and I'm able to manage my time way better when there's zero distractions. If there's family members running around the house, making noises, talking to each other, that can really pull you out of whatever you're working on. And as a creative person that's probably very easily distracted, it's really nice being in your own silent, controllable environment. After a bit of time, I was able to figure out how much my life costs. Every month, I knew how much I spent on groceries, gas, going out to the movies, going out to eat, all of my living expenses. I was able to budget. Now, this allowed me to relax much more because I knew how much I was able to go and spend on something I wanted to buy without going broke and not being able to pay rent. I think creating a budget significantly caused me to calm down and stop worrying about money as much because I was kind of worried. I never had to live on my own. I never had to fully support myself. Because before, this is something I didn't have to worry about. I was living at home. Food was always going to be on the plate, and I always had a roof above my head. Now, I gotta pay for all of that myself. Something that came to me as a huge surprise, probably the thing I didn't expect the most, was that my relationship with my family got so much better. No longer were we breathing the same air and seeing each other every day. We now had to schedule time and go out of our way to see each other. This caused every member of my family to value the time we had together way more because there was much less of it. There was way more quality over quantity when it came to the time we spent together. And honestly, something as simple as sharing a meal together is something that I value way more than I did before, something that I never really appreciated. Fast forward 2 years and 2 apartments, I definitely think I made the right decision. Moving out as a teenager pushed me forward. It inspired me. It made me create my own environment. It made me set my own priorities. I was the master of my own life. By being reliable on myself only, I started to learn a lot about myself. I learned that if you want to stay in a healthy relationship with the people around you, you have to be proactive and you have to put energy to scheduling time to spend with them. By taking this major step forward in life, I learned that by opening this door, many others start to open, whether it be business opportunities, seeing that you may want to buy a house soon, getting married, having kids, whatever it is for you, those future doors seem to get a lot closer once you take the major leap forward by opening the door of moving out and being dependent on yourself. I think it's exciting and terrifying at the same time, but that's really what life is all about. But instead of being anxious, be excited because you're doing this for a reason. It may seem like a lot, but I promise you, a lot of people go through this. You'll never feel fully ready to move out of your parents' house or live on your own, but I can promise you that you'll be laughing at the day you sit down on the toilet and forget to buy toilet paper. I think this whole story is really interesting because it's actually come full circle. By me moving out to the other side of town, I've actually met a pretty cute girl, and, well, she may or may not be moving in soon, so the living alone adventure may be coming to an end. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to share with you guys my experience of moving out and living alone as a teenager. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I'm going to try to answer as many as I can. And I hope this video was valuable. If you're on the fence about moving out, if you're committed, wherever you're at on your journey, I'm wishing you the best.